Hello, welcome back to Your Mama House.
Hello.
I feel like it's been a little while. We're excited to just talk again. We might look like we have it together, but we've been through some stuff, and I feel like it really shaped us to be who we are today. I feel like
Facts.
a big part of who we are is what we went through, although that's not completely who we are. We have 11 siblings, so if you can imagine, growing up together was not easy. I can only imagine how it was for our parents having to provide for all 13 of us. Today's episode, we are going to talk about growing up poor and how that's shaped us to be who we are today. I know we had a lot of fun memories, funny too, memories growing up, and wow, I be doing some things now that I'm like, it's because we grew up poor, and so I just think of it at times and I laugh. I'm like, oh my gosh, but I wouldn't trade that for anything. I'm actually grateful that we grew up poor because I feel like it allowed me to be more grateful for what I have now. If we didn't grow up poor, I wouldn't know how it feels to have much either. I would think that having much was my norm, but it's in life we will have little and we will have a lot, and I feel like because we've known how it is to have a little, we're grateful for the little and for the multitude that we do have.
A lot comes to mind. I had a conversation with someone a few days ago, and from time to time when I'm hanging out with people, I'll be like, oh, it's because I grew up poor and blah blah blah. And I think this person finally was like, wait, how poor did you grow up? Because the thing is always, you don't look it.
Yeah.
And I think that's supposed to be a compliment, It's oh, I look well put together. I don't look like I'm struggling. I don't look hungry or something.
I want to know how someone looks. Damn, you look like you grew up poor. What?
First of all, we definitely looked poor growing up.
We did.
Because, first, okay, there was so many of us. It was a given.
Even now, I still look poor at times. I'm serious.
Sometimes I look like I'm going through it. And I really do. But what stands out to me, man, I remember as a kid, we really didn't have much, but I think about food and how our parents really did their best, and sometimes we just eat the most basic things, and I never even thought to complain about it. Do you remember the days where mom would make she would just real quick stir fry Oscar Mayer hot dogs?
Yeah.
And she would cut them into 4 pieces.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to think, I'm smaller than my older siblings, I'm just gonna take one. One hot dog.
Piece?
One hot dog, so that's 4 pieces.
pieces.
And so I just remember thinking, okay, I'm smaller, we're poor.
Aww.
I'm gonna save more for the bigger kids. And so it just naturally became that. And then I also knew not to ask for too many things, or I knew to be shy. And I'm like, bro, I was a kid. Nobody taught me to be shy about these things.
Wait, you all sweet and gentle. I was talking about it with our big sis yesterday.
What?
And we were talking about how if you didn't eat fast, you didn't eat. So we would especially having a ton of siblings, right?
Yeah.
We would have a big bowl of chips or fruits or whatever, and we would kill it in 1 minute. Not even kidding. Because it's we eat so fast. Even now we all still eat fast. It's a trauma response.
That's so true.
Because we grew up poor.
Snacking was the only time where I was I'm sorry, everybody to their own.
Yeah.
If you ain't fast enough, that's your fault.
Yep. Yeah, our family's interesting. Mom and dad definitely did go through phases of buying stuff. They did the hot dogs. They did sub sandwiches. They did a ton of Progresso soup. I remember that.
Yes.
What else?
They
chicken pot
definitely
pies.
had phases. The fried chicken.
Oh, fried chicken was good. The Aldi fried chicken.
With pickles. That was good. Our family has
good.
different meals that we ate.
Yeah.
All the time.
They were literally phases. We would eat it for a whole month and then change it. And I'm so thankful that mom and dad, even though we weren't treated the best, they still provided food for us.
Yeah,
we
is
the bare
never
minimum
went
for them.
without food, clothing, shelter. Now we're not saying that we had the best top tier everything, but we always had a roof over our head. We never had our electricity turned off. We always had some sort of kind of food. So we did have our basic necessities.
Yeah.
Okay, but I answered my little hot dog answer. What comes to mind with you when you think about us growing up poor?
I remember, first of all, I was a little kid, but I always knew we was poor. I just knew it, but I was okay, whatever, this is what we have to work with. Interestingly, I did low-key envy, I thought if you were white, you were rich. And
Same.
I just felt that way for some reason, but I was the white people, they all have this and that, I want that. I just wanted it as a kid, but I was whatever. I knew that we were struggling though. I remember being a little 4-year-old. We would eat Monjane Day with brown sugar. So Monjane Day is like rice with water.
Yes.
And it's like the brown sugar bars. So we would like each have like an inch of a bar, and I remember I would save that. I would eat all my rice with water. I would run to our bed because we would like always sleep together. Go underneath my pillow, put my brown sugar bar underneath my pillow, and then later at night I'd eat it before I go to sleep.
And one time my car hurt, and I'm like, what are you eating? Like, I don't know if y'all know, but the brown sugar bars, they're like rectangles. They're very sharp edges, but when I saw what she was eating, it was like circular. Yeah. Because she done licked the corners. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you eating? You're like, I saved my brown sugar. And I'm like, from this morning?
Yeah.
And the thing about that is that meal was a struggle meal. Like, we were hungry. Like, it was just rice with water and a little chunk of brown sugar. And you were smaller, so you got like, you were younger, you got a smaller piece. I'm like, the fact that you were able to just savor that for a day.
Oh, that was good. And I remember it'd be all sticky.
Yes.
Remember my Teletubby underwear? I would reuse my Red Hot gum and put it in my underwear.
I remember you doing that.
I was weird, but I liked who I was. Like, I feel like who I was then is very much who I am now too. Like, it's still weird.
You're still the same. I remember. So speaking of saving food, like you saved me your brown sugar.
What'd you save? Did you save anything?
So at school, I would feel I don't know why I felt so bad that our older siblings didn't really eat like that. So like I would, oh my gosh, I would save my chicken sandwiches from lunch.
What?
I would save my chicken sandwiches, and our older sister and we would swap food. So she would bring me breakfast, and I would bring her my chicken sandwiches. And I just recently talked about it. Like, were you not hungry? So the thing about me is when I was in elementary school, I used to clean the popcorn machine with my BFF. She watches this. Hey, girl. I would eat the popcorn, like, hella. Like, hella popcorn.
You ate the popcorn?
Because we were selling it. It was leftover popcorn. Nobody wanted it. It was for us. Like, we could if we wanted to. Yeah. But I would eat the popcorn and not eat my chicken sandwiches. So I could save it. Oh. Yeah, so that's what I would do. And I feel like once in a while, I would get 2 chicken sandwiches. I don't know if they thought I was broke or something, but
the school be knowing.
They be knowing. But when in our environment, I feel like we all were going through the struggle. It's just we had so many siblings, so we seemed like we was struggling harder.
Yeah. I thought everybody knew we was poor. At church, at school, in public, everybody knew.
We knew. I feel like there was like a sense of embarrassment that we had.
Kids know. They know.
Yeah.
And it's like we had to kusi or tsonya a little bit because we knew that we didn't have much. Like, I feel like when you know how it feels to have to earn something and to struggle with something, so like you know how to make it last longer. Okay, let me tell you, this is why I take longer eating Kit Kats. Because that's why I eat Kit Kats long. So if you know me, you know that I eat Kit Kats layer by layer, piece by piece, because it makes it last longer. So that's what I do. Even with popcorn, I eat like the 2 little pieces first, and then I eat the whole popcorn.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so that's what I do. Is there anything that you do as a habit because we grew up poor?
It's very rare that I ever throw out food. Like, ever. Ever.
Yeah.
I eat my food.
Even if you're full already?
I'm going to eat it. Or if I can't finish it, I'm bringing it home. I'm eating my food. Like, I've been on some dates where they're just like, are you hungry?
hungry?
And I'm like, I'm not hungry. I'm going to eat. Like, I'm on a date. I'm going to eat.
Okay, first of all, she told me I eat like a poor person. Okay, no. Hey, we grew up not with a lot, okay?
If you have ever heard her eat, I eat. If I'm not hungry and I hear her eating, it sounds so good.
Dude,
I want to eat.
Everyone tells me I need to do like a mukbang because apparently I eat like I ain't never eat before.
Okay, leave a comment if you want to do if you want to see her do a mukbang ASMR.
We should.
First of all,
we should.
You eat like it's really good though.
And you do too. You be finishing your food. We should do it. Let's do it one day.
What should we eat, y'all?
Yeah, and if you want to sponsor or buy us the food, we'll shout you out and be like, hey, thank you to blah, blah, blah for ordering us this food today.
I think we might need a tutorial on how to eat the brown sugar and how to save that.
Yeah, and throw it underneath our pillow.
That's okay, so weird.
Hold up. We cannot talk about this, growing up poor, without addressing the fact that some of us siblings, we still be reusing paper towels that are already ripped in half. We still be doing that.
Does anybody else, please let us know if your family does this, because the majority of us in our family do it.
Yeah, and the in-laws in our family are like, why y'all do that?
Like, the hell y'all?
But it's like, What? We grew up doing this.
Y'all don't do that?
You rip it in half first, you dry your hands, and you put it on like the microwave or the counter to reuse it.
It dries, and then you reuse it.
Yeah.
Or use it to wipe the counter or something.
Yeah, or pick something up from the floor and toss it.
Have y'all ever seen that meme where it was like a paper towel roll, hate to see me coming? It don't hate to see me coming. What y'all using all that for? Why are you using so much?
And when we have like family gatherings, we reuse like the trays. And we'd be like, don't throw this away. This was mine. Mine is the one with like some pepper and chicken in it. Like, we just reuse everything. And we cut up plates for like cake and stuff.
It's gotten to a point where, remember, I was like, I had to face my scarcity mindset. Like, am I gonna have food to eat later? Like,
yeah. She'd be calling me out because I'd be frugal still. So she'd be like, that's kind of like a scarcity mindset.
And the thing is, she'd be balling, you know what I'm saying? Like, she'd be treating herself. So it's like, it's okay.
It depends. We all have our own thing where it's like, yeah, we'll splurge on something, but not on something else.
Okay, I don't want to change the subject, but it definitely relates to this. Y'all know that Everybody Hates Chris episode where they did the food drive and he ended up bringing it home and Rochelle made him send it back? Do you know that's happened to our family a few times?
Mom sent it back?
Mom never sent it back. She said,
oh, we just kept it.
Yeah. Mom thought we should have been so grateful that these suburban schools. It ain't never happened to our public schools. It happened to our siblings who went to like suburban schools. And they told us, and they were telling us how embarrassing it was that their classmates would bring in canned foods for them to bring back. When the night before,
they would like out certain kids, and like our siblings who went to suburban schools were definitely some of them, which is weird.
And they got their own trauma from going to suburban schools.
Yeah. We're gonna have to have a whole nother conversation about the differences in us because of the different schools we went to. Like, we grew up in MPS schools, so
that's Milwaukee Public Schools. If you don't know,
yeah, they knew we was poor too, though. You know, the teachers, I don't know if you remember this, but I think I was like in 3rd grade or 4th grade, and one of my teachers, she had packed some yummy twirled, it looks like candy canes, but they were like baked goods. Yep. They were red and white, and she gave it to me to bring it home for our family, and we all ate it together. Aww. Yeah, that was very sweet. I wonder why.
Now that I'm looking
I remember her name. Her name was Miss Holton. She was so sweet. I remember her birthday was July 29th. Yeah. Yeah, she's so sweet.
I like our babies. Oh my gosh. I like that she did that without making you feel bad about it.
Yeah,
you know?
She was so sweet.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell y'all something. When I was in the 5th grade, okay, so our parents really didn't spend money on us like that. Like, we never got new toys. We never got things. We never went to Disney World. We never went to the Dells, okay? We never went to Chuck E. Cheese. We did.
Yeah, we did. Remember, I have a picture with you.
All right, that was one time. And I don't know how we went.
That was fun.
That was fun. But when I was in the 5th grade, so I used to go to this school, and it was like a pretty nice school, still public school, but we would travel depending on the class that you were in. And I remember Mom and Dad never paid for nothing, but they paid $400 for me to go to this trip to DC.
Wow, I'm surprised
they paid cash. They paid, and Mom was so embarrassing.
What happened?
Mom was like, so Mom paid in cash, and this was at like parent-teacher conferences. This was a bunch of parents. We were meeting to go over this DC trip. I need receipt for my money.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, Mom, he already put that, he collected it. And mind you, I'm translating because my mom is pissed, right? You, receipt. And I'm like,
oh my
Mom, Mr. Roland already said that he counted it. No, I need receipt. I need receipt for my money. And I'm so embarrassed because Mr. Roland was like, in all my years of teaching, no one has ever forced me. And so I think what he had to do was he had to write it down like, so-and-so paid $400.
Mom had that trust issue.
No. She had them fund issues. Like, she was big mad.
That made me sad, though. Did that ever make you sad, like, seeing Mom and Dad struggle? I remember she would, like, be having to, like, update food stamp stuff, and she would be struggling. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, oh, my gosh. I want to be, like, kind of like an advocate for, like, mothers who are of, like, low-income families, just people who are struggling and are looking for assistance. What?
I'm sorry. You're so sweet because
it was sad.
No, that's so sad, and you're so sweet. And I'm laughing because I was like, yes, it's WIC time. That's women, infant, and children. And I was like, man, when we got them Kraft cheese blocks, I was...
Wait, them red thingies?
No, girl, we didn't get no Baby Bell.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't recall those.
No, the Kraft cheese is like where it would come in that big pack.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. They're just like the yellow cheese?
Yes, just the yellow cheese. Okay. And for some reason, Kraft cheddar cheese was just the best cheese ever. And I couldn't wait for when it was time for that because that meant we got cheese and milk and eggs. Yeah. And juicy juice.
I loved juice. Yeah. And I love it when we would be able to eat fruit sometimes. And speaking of that, I want to talk about what did you consider poor? What did you consider rich when we were younger? Or even now. But like when we were younger mostly.
My concept of poor and rich is so silly. It's so funny. I thought that, I'm just like you. I thought all white people were rich.
Yeah,
like all white people had it good. Because we were brought up like, we were told that white people had it together. So we just naturally assumed. And then outside of that, I thought people who had fruit snacks or a pantry type shit.
Yes.
Or a dining room. Or they hung pictures up in their on their walls. Or if they didn't get yelled at all the time, I thought they were rich. I thought that was rich.
Yeah. Like, remember we had gone to Lisa and Lee's house? They're basically like this couple that like sponsored us from like a Elmbrook church or whatever. And they had all of us over one time. And it was nice because then we didn't have to be home with mom and dad. So we all went with them, most of us, and got to spend the night there. And I remember they had like chips, like they had like Doritos, and I remember I think I accidentally opened it upside down and then it like fell onto the floor, kitchen floor. Remember that? And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get beat. But they didn't beat me, they didn't yell at me, they just grabbed the broom and like the dustpan, and then they're like, it's okay, they just cleaned it up. I was like, oh, these people are rich because they got chips that they can just share with us. Like they had granola bars, they had yogurt, they had all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they didn't yell at me. And then they had these bunk beds. They had a home.
Yeah.
I was like, they're rich.
Dude, and then before we went to bed, she asked if we wanted a snack.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I was like, what the hell? A snack?
Yeah. I only thought snacks were for like special occasions, but like people get it every day. I'm like, if you can have Rice Krispies and Cheez-Its and fruit snacks and whatever.
Whenever you want. It's not just like, for us, it was like mom bought it and it was like, who wants some? And it was like gone. In that exact moment, just like that, it was gone. We never had like leftover snacks or none.
Yeah. We didn't have them just there, just accessible to anyone and everyone.
Here's another thing that I thought was rich.
What?
So, we're speaking of Lisa. Lisa was very sweet. She was very kind. I feel like they had money, but now that I look back as an adult, they're probably just regular middle class people. They didn't have no kids. Yeah. And I remember before we went to a Bible study or youth camp, they had stopped by Walgreens. Oh. And she said, who wants to go in? And only like 2 or 3 of us went in. And she's like, you pick out whatever snack you want. I thought that was a rich thing to do. That was big flex.
Yeah. Yeah, we grew up so poor. We never really had that. So now it's like, now that I'm an adult, I overcorrect and I spoil myself super, super much now. Well, now that I'm working, I'm going to buy myself all the fruits I want to eat.
Okay, and speaking of rich, right? I went to an appointment a few days ago, and my girl was asking me like, I haven't seen you in a while, where you been? I was like, I just got back from backpacking not too long ago in Europe. And she's like, that's rich. Like,
oh.
So now we're getting to a point where we're just doing things to fulfill our like childhood dreams and stuff because we never had the opportunity. And now people think it's rich.
Yeah.
And that made me sad because when I used to think of people doing regular things as rich, it's just because I didn't have much. I didn't have the luxury to do things like or the time or whatever. And now we're doing things and people think that's rich. Yeah.
It is rich.
It is.
And like, of course, rich isn't just like money. Like, I think it's so nice because I feel like growing up poor helped us to be rich in spirit. Like, we're so grateful. Like, you can't really buy that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
When you're grateful for little, that's powerful.
We really are so grateful because that was like our beginning. It was when you start off at 0, you get 2, you're like, oh snap, I got 2. So it's like, okay, you just learn to be very grateful, but there's a downside to that too, because when you have nothing growing up and some guy comes along, he's like, I love you, I might be terrible to you, but I'll give you a compliment here and there. You're like, oh my gosh, yay! So it's like, it has its downfall as well. Yeah. It really makes me think of financial stability and what that looks like and what I want. I don't want to struggle. Like, I hated growing up poor, and I remember I used to say like, I hate that we're poor. Not because I hated my parents or that I didn't see their hard work, right? But it's just like you have friends and you want to do things they do. You want to be able to go out here and do things and you couldn't do it. So it's like now I want to be able to provide those things for my kids.
I remember like growing up and even like when I was a college student, I'd be like, oh, I'm so poor. Mom would say like, oh, just all claim, which means don't claim that.
Yeah.
Don't claim the brokenness. Like, just don't claim it, I guess. Yeah. Mom's so funny for that. I'm like, that is so interesting.
Which is crazy because they instilled that in us. We didn't really know we were poor. They really made sure we knew we were poor. Like, no, you can't have that because we're poor. Like, jeez. This is ongoing, y'all. This will affect us for the rest of our lives. So I pretty sure this won't be our one and only video on this.
Yeah. We also got lots to say about financial stability and just managing our finances.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. And I feel like that's kind of a trauma response because we grew up poor. So much so that now I'm like, oh my gosh, nope, I do not want to struggle thinking if we got food tomorrow. I remember, we always had something, but there was kind of that like instability for me. And I fear that, and I don't want that ever for myself or my future kids. And I'm like, I want someone who's got it, who's all good. I don't want no what ifs. And I think like, honestly, when I was with a poor person, in the past, what helped me to leave him was that like I thought about my future, how that would look like, and I'm like, wait, I don't want to be the breadwinner. I want you to win the bread, and I'm here at home with the kids. And I'm like, I imagine how it would look like. I was like, we would struggle. He would leave me alone with no electricity, no AC, no fruits,
y'all,
no snacks.
That was funny till it wasn't funny, and I'm gonna tell y'all why.
Yeah, tell us why.
Sometime soon. You want me to tell y'all now? Damn. All right, let me tell y'all. Like, financial stability is so much more important than being rich. A lot of rich people don't know how to manage their money. Okay, so financial stability is this security. There's confidence in what you have financially. And I was once married to somebody who didn't really value that same thing that I valued. Yeah. And this is so embarrassing. This is such a low point in my life, but I just couldn't do it all. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. I was just trying to handle everything, and he wasn't doing any of that. And I was just doing so much, and I couldn't pay our electricity bill. And I was in the struggle, and I told him, I can't pay the electricity. Oh, and I don't know if y'all know, but in the summer, they'll shut off your electricity. In the winter, they won't.
That's crazy.
And I told him, you need to clean the fridge out before things go bad. Ooh. He did not. And guess whose fridge was full of maggots and juices? Okay, y'all know the little biscuit things that you twist and it pops open? That popped open itself in the fridge.
That's gross.
It was so disgusting.
And you had to clean it?
Girl, I cried and cried and cried.
That's so sad.
Because I was just like, okay, you don't have the money to bring it, but it costs you nothing to clean it. So anyway, very terrible.
Yeah.
He also...
I'm sorry he put you through that.
Girl, but you know how like we have the norm that we grow up with? His norm was that every so often they would get their electricity shut.
That was his norm.
And
that's sad.
If you know us, you know we've talked about our parents, about how our parents were not perfect. But one thing is, we've never gone without electricity. This is such a basic thing. This is the one thing that my dad did where I was able to be like, my dad never let us go through that. And when I had that idea, it made me think about all the young ladies who have good dads, who taught them, who paved the way for them of what a partner should be and do. So I can go on and on about this, but I am traumatized.
Yeah.
By our family and by a romantic partner.
I can see how growing up poor really shaped all of us differently, even though we were in it together.
Yeah.
But I feel like in a lot of good ways, more good than bad. It's like, okay, well, I'm learning from that, and I don't want to live like that anymore. I'm going to do these things differently so that we don't struggle financially anymore. And I am so glad that, like, we know how to manage our finances now, where we can do things that we want to and explore things. And I also thought it was rich if you can have hobbies.
Yes.
I saw that, and I'm like, oh, you get to pursue your passions. Like, you get to play violin. Like, I thought that was cool that you got to do that.
I love that you said hobbies, because I feel like everyone should have a hobby. I feel like hobbies are needs, not wants. You need that as a human being to enjoy life, right? And people always tell me, you're rich. I'll be like, how? Why? You go on walks. And it made me realize I'm rich in the luxury of time, I guess. So now as we're getting older, we're learning like different luxuries of life, about living a slow, steady life, about enjoying yourself, like you going and doing marathons. Like, people who ain't got money ain't running marathons.
That's true. And you know, this brings me back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like, if you don't have your most basic needs met, how are you going to reach to like your desires and your goals? So that's why I'm like, take care of yourself. If you're not feeling or doing well emotionally and mentally and physically, like, do that first. Take care of yourself first, and then do everything else that you want to do. Yeah, because that affects how you are and who you are. Like, if you're hungry, if you're not feeling well, if you're sick, your body is telling you need something.
That's so true.
So tend to that first. So tend to yourselves. Thanks for listening to our stories about how we grew up poor and how that's shaping us. And there's so much more that we didn't get to share. But we'll definitely continue like having conversations about this because it shows up in our everyday lives. And we're still growing and learning from all of our lived experiences, especially as kids growing up poor. And we still have some silly habits that we do because we're a little frugal because we grew up poor, but it makes us who we are, and we're grateful for much because we've been grateful for a little too.
Yeah, I just want to really take a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the sacrifices our parents have made because we're here and we're talking about our financial struggles and our traumas, but we really do notice the sacrifices and the hardships that parents put in, especially immigrant parents who don't speak English. Like our parents were dumped here after the war, and it's like they did their absolute best in a country they didn't know, didn't understand. And
with all these kids,
girl, and now their kids are college educated, smart, with a really awesome podcast.
Yeah. I honestly don't know how they did it because I'm me as a single adult, I struggle to barely take care of myself at times. I'm like, how did mom do it with all of us? I don't know how.
Girl, that just made me think about once upon a time I used to be so broke I used to have sleep for dinner.
I feel you.
I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Like, let me sleep early so that I can hold off on the hunger and not have to eat. And then you wake up in the morning and you don't feel that hungry no more.
For real, I usually be even hungrier. Like, oh damn.
Wow.
But yes,
that's real though.
Yeah.
And eat like bread with sugar. I had to do that in college.
Okay. I know we've been bad.
I know.
But let me tell y'all something about her. This was a few years ago, and it was like February or something.
2020 or something.
And she gonna tell me, I was like, oh, how are you doing? And I think you were like, I'm okay now. I was struggling. I didn't have food in January, but I'm good now. Bro, it was like February 2nd. It was like
it's good.
February.
Your return came. What's it called? The financial aid. Financial aid kicked in, and so this is like the second day of February. I was like, yeah, like now I can eat food and never.
Bro,
I didn't have no food. I remember I had 26 cents in my account and I maxed out my credit card, so I couldn't even use that. And I remember like our big sister gave me $50 randomly after a family hangout. I think I was leaving from winter break to go back to school, and she gave me that. I almost cried. She's so sweet. Thank you, sister. You know who you are. And I was like, oh my gosh, like a little goes such a long way, especially when you had so little. So I was so thankful. But yeah, it was a struggle in college. I literally ate bread and sugar.
Did you buy meals with that?
With that money?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, you better than me, because one time I was real poor and I had $20 and I
What'd you buy?
Wingstop.
Okay.
No, terrible. It was because
like a day.
It was because I was with somebody, the same guy who let me go with the maggots, right?
Ew.
This is why it's important who you surround yourself with. Because if I was struggling, you'd be like, girl, you need to do this, you need to do this. He was like, yeah, we could do Wingstop. Wingstop is like about like $9 for...
Yeah, that's not smart.
Yeah, he wasn't.
And
but neither was I, apparently.
Yeah, but he should have led you.
Yeah.
He was your husband.
He led me to hell.
Yeah. See, that's no bueno.
No.
Dang, we really been through it and back. But look at us.
Yo.
We just went to Europe. We're saving our money.
Period.
We're paying off debt.
We've been through the trenches, y'all.
We're free now.
Do we look like we have it together? Don't fall for that, y'all. Don't fall for anything that you think that you see at all, good or bad.
That's true. Like, y'all know I drive a raggedy car, right?
Me too.
We do.
Because as long as it takes us from point A to point B, sometimes it might not. I'm not sure.
I know, it's scary. It's like, please don't crash down on me. Like,
yeah, my car is so ghetto, y'all, and it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. My thing is, I feel like sometimes people think we got it all together because we look like it. It's like, do we need to be more vocal about how we struggle? Or
how should I look like? So y'all know I'm struggling.
I look like I'm struggling on the daily. It's just, we put on makeup and we talk, and we usually present ourselves very well, but like,
we're very open about it too, y'all.
We are.
It's not a thing where we're
constantly growing and working on things. Like, we budget for fun. Like, on my free time, I love looking at my budget, and I know you like working on yours too.
Yeah. I don't necessarily do it for fun. This is where the difference is. For me, it's a requirement. It's like, I just need to do it. But there was once upon a time I couldn't pay my stuff, and you were like, sis, how are you doing it? I was like, oh, you just don't pay certain bills.
She didn't look at her bills.
How? You couldn't. I couldn't.
Ignorance is not bliss for me.
As long as I'm
there.
going to pay my rent. I'm going to pay the things I got to.
Okay.
And some things I'm just not going to pay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As long as your most basic needs are met, but then the other things catch up to you. So
I was using my debit card like a gift card. If it goes through, I hope it goes through.
Ooh.
If it don't, I don't. I didn't check my bank account for like 8 months. I don't know. I used to be like, oh, thank God.
That's crazy.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Terrible. I'm not happy to say that, but it's just the truth that, like, okay, yeah, if y'all ever thought we had it together, surprise, we don't, and that's fine.
You know, it's funny because with the way that we look, people don't expect us to drive the cars that we drive, but it's just like, it's our humble beginnings. It's like,
yeah. And also,
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm like, we grew up poor. Yeah, I drive a raggedy car.
But you know what? They paid off.
Yeah.
They paid off.
Our cars are... High five for paid off cars.
Paid off cars.
Paid off cars.
Yeah, and we like work from home and stuff from time to time. So it's like, I don't really need something that amazing.
I do. But mine works. Mine works. I love my baby. I named my baby Ready because it's red.
That's so cute.
Yeah. Speed Racer Ready because I speed.
She do be speed racing, bro.
Well, traveling back and forth all the time, I got to. As long as I avoid the popo and the popo avoids me.
Oh my God.
Then I'm good.
Speaking of, okay, since we're still on the topic of poor, if
Oh
we can't afford the popo. If my gas tank is on E and the light is on, and I see a gas station for it's like $2.93, and I know a mile down the road there's one for $2.78, I'm driving that mile.
She weird. She likes gas even if it's generic. I'm picky about my gas.
See, that's the thing about me. It don't matter to me.
She would go to Nomies. What the fuck is Nomies? She didn't go to Nomies.
Okay, so what? I'm gonna go to Nomies.
She like Nomies.
There are some things I feel like the brand don't matter.
It matters.
Can y'all let us know down below if it matters?
That's bad for your car.
No, it's not.
I know, I'm just being crazy, but it kind of is.
You know what I mean?
I'm picky.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
She just missed my pun.
No, I know, I got it.
Oh. There are some things that I don't mind getting generic. Like graham crackers, I'll get generic.
Those aren't good. You gotta have the ones with the cinnamon, the brand name
They
ones.
make generic ones with cinnamon too.
Yeah, but I tried it. The cinnamon doesn't stick as well.
Okay, I do agree.
But I do like the Aldi ones because we did grow up eating them Aldi foods.
Them things was good.
Okay, let's do, since we're talking about being poor growing up, what I really carried with me is shopping at Aldi.
Oh yeah, Aldi is great.
Yeah,
we did that when we was in Europe, y'all.
They were expensive in Europe though.
Okay, true. Okay, also, when I was young, I was a little embarrassed that we shopped at Aldi, but then as time went on, I'm like,
yeah,
forget it. Food is food. Who cares?
Exactly. That's crazy that even as kids, we were taught to kind of be like self-conscious and like care about what people think. It's crazy.
And nobody was like, hey, you're going to care. Okay, you're going to care. Who gave us that? Yeah. Honestly, I understood that as anxiety because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it was just because of this fear. We have this secondhand fear because our parents were they argued about money in front of us.
Yeah.
It was just, we had very weird scenarios, y'all.
Yeah, if y'all grew up poor, what was it like for y'all? Like, do we have similarities? I'm sure we do, and that's kind of cool. I like hearing people's stories.
Same, and if you're Hmong, does any of this relate to you? And if you're not Hmong, just share it with us anyway because I'm curious on our similarities growing up in poor families. Like, y'all, we was poor. Like, I don't know if y'all know, we didn't have couches at one point. Yeah.
We barely had toys.
We didn't have toys. The girls never got new toys ever. We got secondhand toys only.
Oh, and I always wore her old clothes, like all hand-me-downs.
Yeah. And then it's not like I got amazing clothes either, but from time to time, we did get new clothes. Yeah. Or like school supplies. Oh my gosh. Ew.
They did what they could.
They did.
Financially. Yeah.
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 They definitely could have done things differently, but you know, like mom and dad were constantly arguing as well about dad sending money to support his family, and I do understand that, but that put our mom in a really weird position as well. And then we're watching them argue, and then it was kind of like, I tell me if you understood this. I felt like don't ask for anything.
Oh yeah.
They let us know, and then also it's like hearing them argue. It's like, oh, okay.
We never asked. That's why I stole.
She taught me how to steal, y'all.
Okay, that's another thing. Okay, when you grow up poor, you steal. Sometimes. No. I stole because I'm like, well, I'm not going to ask for them to buy me this baby bottle pop. I'm just going to stick it in my pants.
No, because if kids knew their parents could afford it, they probably would just ask them. But it was a no all the time for us.
Yeah.
I can't even blame you.
Yeah. But you know, sometimes mom and dad, when we would go to Aldi, they'd be like, you could choose one thing. I remember every time they told me, I would eat, like, they're basically fruit by the foot. Strawberry fruit by the foot, but Aldi version, they don't sell those no more.
Those were so good.
I always got those. Aren't they good?
Those are so
they don't
good.
sell them no more, but I got those all the time.
I feel like we were really sweet. Like, when we were allowed to grab something, we always grabbed something we could share.
Yes, that's true.
Like, I would grab Nutty Bars.
Ooh.
I feel like some of our brothers who had more growing up, like, they would get toys and stuff, they would grab something for themselves. Like, one bag of chips. But for the rest of us, like, we would grab sharing things.
Yeah.
You just learn how to naturally love each other. Like, even if, like, here. You know what I mean? You still do it.
I remember when we would go to... It's okay. I remember when we would go to Walgreens and you would choose cookie and I choose cookie. You would choose fudge rounds. I would choose Star Crunch.
Oh!
That's so I was like, yeah, you know,
I still love that.
She like her dark chocolate and I like my chocolate. She likes her dark chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
It's
I
so
still
good.
love that.
Yeah, and I still love Star Crunch. Okay, microwave it.
Microwave
and
it.
eat it with ice cream or something. Or even just by itself.
We were so
pretty
grateful.
good.
Them little cookies was like 30 cents.
25 cents back then.
Bro, back then.
Dude, that's
okay,
crazy.
we really showing our age.
We
right
say
now.
back then now. No, because now one of them little things is like $1.25.
Ew, the hell?
Yeah, and a whole box is like $6. It's a lot.
I remember one time we went to Walgreens. Mom and Dad were getting their pictures developed. And I had a coupon. Mm-hmm. I cut out a coupon at home. It was like 4 things of Kit Kats.
Oh.
4 for $1. Once upon a time, it was 4 for $1.
That's crazy.
And I got up there and I gave him, you know, he was like, $1.10. I had $1. I split it over. He and I just looked at each other.
You had no dime?
I didn't have a dime.
Oh no, then what happened?
I just looked at him and I not know to speak English either. So I didn't even know how to. He was just like, you good.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, but that's how poor we were. It's like I knew I couldn't ask. I'll just save my money. I used to have like little purses. I would bring a little purse everywhere.
I know. We really, okay, it's something about growing up poor where we kind of both thought a little bit more, where it's like we're just more considerate and like we know not to ask or be greedy because we know that we didn't have much. But at the same time, when it was there, like when we was at the buffet, we would go all out because we knew that was already covered. So we go eat our money's worth. And I find myself doing that now where it's like, I'm not hungry no more, but I already spent money on this and I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to eat it all.
Okay, hold on. You can't talk about buffet without talking about how we also used to lie about our ages. They're probably like, last year, weren't you 8? You 7 now?
I think I remember when I was 7, y'all had told me to say I was 5. Because I was little. We were all really little. So they're like, yeah, just say you 5.
We
It's
definitely
cheaper.
got that trauma, man.
Yeah.
Trauma bad. Please add to this conversation. It's not just us talking at y'all. We really want to join in on this conversation. I feel like this needs to be had more.
I know we is not the only family that lied about our ages for the buffet. Come on now.
Come on now.
So tell us, comment below too if you can relate. Because I know we're not the only ones.
We're not the only ones.
And there's some other poor stuff we did. I just can't recall right now.
We did so many poor things, y'all.
We did.
It's kind of funny now that I think back. It builds character, y'all.
It does. We can laugh about it. I feel like all of us are pretty humans because we grew up poor. It's kind of funny. Yeah. I appreciate it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'm glad that we had each other to lean on. Like, okay, being poor by yourself is miserable, but being poor with people you love, like your siblings, like that meant a lot to me.
It taught us so much gratitude. Like, y'all, we were genuinely so happy sharing like a can of peaches or a bag of chips. Like, even if it meant we only got 3 pieces each. So freaking what? You know, I got to eat 3 pieces with my family.
Yes, it taught us to share. Even now I see that. Like, none of us are like greedy, but it's just like we have a lot now. So we're going to share.
And I remember like sitting on that hardwood floor that didn't have no carpet, didn't have no furniture in this living room, thinking, one day I'm gonna miss this. And I remember thinking like, girl, what the hell you gonna miss this for?
I'm shook that you thought that way.
I did. I remember thinking, I'm gonna miss this one day. Because dad has said a lot of things that has stuck with me. Dad was like, and I always remembered that, like, oh, all right, fine. Like with an attitude, but now I get it. I get so much.
Oh, that's so sweet and thoughtful of you. I didn't think that way as a kid.
Well, also, Dad was like a jerk sometimes, but
yeah, they would always say that stuff. This is random, but I remember being a little girl, and you know I love taking pictures, right? I remember being a little girl and thinking like, I really want a digital camera one day. I probably would never get one, but I really do. And I'm like, look at what we're recording with right now, and I'm like,
it's her camera she saved up for.
I love being an adult because it's like, if I want something, I work hard for it, and I feel like because I've worked hard for it, I can make it last long. Because I feel like if everything was given, like, handed out to us, we wouldn't know how to be grateful.
You know how to care about something. You value it. The value in our gratitude in things, it really shows, like, it is directly stemmed from our upbringing.
Yeah.
It's not an accident.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. Like, wow, we really chose this. And we're healing from it. We're learning from it. It's a beautiful thing. Like, it's so weird. When I was, like, if I were to think about, like, me being a little girl, as a little girl, I would have never thought that maybe one day I'd say, I'm so glad we grew up poor.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. Do you remember when we were younger and we were thrifting a lot?
Yeah.
I feel like I was just thrifting a lot because I wanted to have stuff. Even if I didn't totally love an item, I would just get it because it was nice to have. There was once upon a time I had like over 100 pairs of heels, and looking back, I'm like, I didn't really like any of them. I just wanted to have it.
You still got over 100 pairs of heels.
But I like
It's different.
them.
She likes it.
Yeah,
That's
I like
different.
them now.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I would just buy, like, oh, it's $5, I gotta get it. Now it's like,
Yeah.
oh, these heels are $60, but I really like them. I'm gonna get them.
It's so interesting because I feel like a poor mindset keeps you poor. But once you realize that, like, wait,
oh, y'all,
I don't need to get everything just because it's cheap. That makes you more rich because you know how to, like, make wise financial decisions, not just based off impulse, but when your brain's fully developed and you're, like, giving yourself discipline, you're disciplining yourself, and you just spend money more wisely.
I agree.
You grow.
When you grow up poor, you're instilled with a scarcity mindset, and I feel like as we've gotten older, we've been very intentional about, like, understanding that, like, oh, there is an abundant, you know, it is an abundant world, and if I just stop buying 18 pairs of $5 shoes, I could buy a really nice pair that I love that lasts me for years, and that is what keeps you rich. And then I value that pair of heels, you know.
Yes, y'all. Let me tell y'all. I bought one coat years ago and I still have it. I bought one electric toothbrush years ago and I still have it. It's like, it's the thing, it's those little things where it's like, I spent a lot of money on it, but it's worth it. Because I use it every day. I use it all those years. Yeah.
I have a $40 mug.
My favorite.
I love that mug. Like, I literally told my family, like, when I die, like, bury that mug with me. That's how much I love it, because I spent $40 on it. Like, it's not the fact only that it was expensive. It was like, I value it, and every time I drink out of it, I think about, like, I really intended to purchase this mug. It's not just like, you know, a random buy. I really like it. It's handmade, hand painted.
Wow. That makes it very special.
It does.
It's what you find joy in that makes you, like, wealthy. It doesn't have to be anything necessarily that is of, like, it's, like, very expensive financially, right? But it's like, what brings you joy? Like, just some things you just can't pay for it. You can't buy it. Like, you can't buy happiness. But if you find joy in everything, no one can take that from you. You're already wealthy inside out. So I think that's a good way to end this. Thank you all for listening. We hope you had a fun time listening to our funny stories, you know, growing up poor, and even, like, the silly things we do now because of that. And we would love to hear some of your stories of how you grew up and how that's shaped you, like what things you've kept with you even as an adult. And yeah, we're so happy that you were able to join us, and we'll see you next time.
See y'all. That was fun.
That was fun. That was long as hell. I hope that it didn't end. The movie ended automatically because it was so long.
Oh no, did it save though?
No.